If you have watched my Ibis Paint review, you will know I am a absolute sucker for Procreate. Oh goodness, I've been using this software for nearly 2.5 years, I want to say, in my whole digital art journey, so it is the day. I am going to be sharing my full review on Procreate, so let's dive in. I'm so excited. So yeah, I've been a digital artist and a sort of Christian artist for nearly 3 years, and I did start out with Autodesk Sketchbook. Now while that was good for starting out, I definitely wanted to try Procreate because it was the buzz, it was the drawing software that everybody wanted, so I was like, I'm getting on this, let's rock and roll. So to start off, we will talk about the user interface of Procreate. I was a little bit overwhelmed because it's very minimal. Now, I do like the minimal user interface of Procreate. It definitely, it's just it's kind of like Tears of the Kingdom. Do you know what I mean? Like you just go in and you just explore. It's like Breath of the Wild when you get to the first title screen. Like you just want to explore everything and what it all has to offer. So yeah, it was a little bit overwhelming at first, but let me tell you, it is very like the more you get used to it, the more you definitely you experiment and you find out what works for you. And yeah, I do like the user interface of Procreate. It is just minimal, it is just to the point, and yeah, it's not too overwhelming once you get the hang of the actual software itself. So yeah, the next thing that I want to talk about is the default brushes of Procreate. Now, you will see my style. I'll insert a few photographs of my art. So this is kind of like the sort of first portraits that I did way back when I first sort of started my page, and I was really just trying to find my own style. Now, I do love these portraits. I used a lot of the default oil paint brushes on Procreate, which were just fantastic. And also, what I do love about Procreate and what I would continue to do myself is look for free resources online for free brushes. I'll leave a link below of some of the ones that I have used over the years, but I have to say, I do love the fact that you can get free custom brushes. Like I did pay, I think it was about £14 British pounds back in about 2020 when hold on a minute. I'm just having a real think to myself. Hold on, existential crisis coming to 3, 2, 1. I've had this iPad since about 2017, 2018 for when I was in fashion college, and oh, it was that long ago? Holy crap. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, but yeah, I did purchase this software. I was going to say 2020, but it was actually way before that. My god. Woo, that's a long time. But anyway, I did pay about £14 at that time, around sort of 2017, but we have since come through COVID and, with pandemic and the world shutting down, and now we're living in a cost of living, so I'm pretty sure the prices probably went up because, inflation. Anyway, so yeah, it was definitely worth the price to get all those brushes. There's so much there to start you off, and there's a lot to explore, but I do feel that if you are sort of beginner artists, it can be a bit overwhelming at first because there's just so many, and you see all your favorite artists online using all these different brushes, and you want to try the same thing, but maybe it doesn't work for you, and yet if you use something else, maybe it works for you. So yeah, it's definitely a little overwhelming at first to see all of the brushes, but that's what it's there for, to experiment and to find out what works for you. What may work for someone else, say the round brush, for me, personally, it just does not work. I just prefer the more textured brushes on the painting tabs you will see here on the screen, and also the artistic brushes I've been loving recently. Such beautiful textures for backgrounds, and just to add in that little extra painterly touch to your paintings. I really enjoy them. And yeah, I do love the fact that you can import different free brushes onto the app, which is really good, and you can also, I believe, buy different brushes. So if you are in a position to invest, you can definitely build up your little brush library. It is fantastic, and yeah, I do not have a bad word to say about the brushes. And what I love about it too is that you can just customize the streamline, and also just you can make your own brushes, I believe, which is something I've never dived into because it's just a little bit too complicated for me. But yeah, it is very good. The brush selection for the base app is very good. I highly recommend. So next, with the overall drawing experience. Now, this drawing journey it has been a journey, and finding, as I say, what works for me, what works for my style. It has been enjoyable experience. I've had like a lot of different pieces, like even like looking at everything back now in my little portfolio, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, like look how far we've come. But yeah, it definitely took me a while to find my style. I definitely tried a whole lot of different styles that may have looked absolute garbage. Insert the webtoon photos here. Like I loved that little webtoon, that little Christian webtoon, and then I Met You. I loved it. It was personal at the time. But like, looking back at the drawing, like you could have done so much better. Oh, it's so bad. But like, yeah, we learn. We move on, you know. Anyway, but yeah, I definitely like. I'm sorry, I'm just having a bit of a crisis here. Sorry. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, what was I talking about? So yeah, I'm sorry, I had to like look back on this whole audio and just see what the heck I was talking about. Anyway, so I was talking about my art journey. Like I definitely tried like a whole lot of different styles. I tried like the anime style and really just figuring out, you know, what looks good for me and what I prefer. And yeah, it's definitely evolved, and thank God it has, and we all grow. And yeah, I definitely love looking back at the whole journey. And yeah, I'll insert a few of my favourite pieces. Like I'm looking back now and I'm like, oh, remember this? Like even this collaboration I did with a YouTube channel. His name is Joe Henkel. He is a filmmaker. He's fantastic, and I remember doing this collab with him for his little short film. I'll link it down below for you that you can watch it. It's fantastic. It is for his film Two Souls. I did this little oil style painting of like a little park bench and just adding in the whole textures. Like it's just something that I definitely feel I have a strength in, and I think it's really important too in digital art is to play to your strengths. And also work on your weaknesses too, if you want to get better. That is how we're going to learn. Just a little artist wisdom for you. And yeah, it definitely took me a long time to really learn what works for me on Procreate with using like different line art brushes. Like I do recommend the Sai ink brushes. I'll leave a link down below where you can find them. I hope I still have a link. But yeah, they are very, very good. And yeah, just learning the whole ropes of Procreate, it definitely took me a while. But you will learn as you go and what works for you. The next thing I kind of want to touch on is canvas sizes on Procreate. Now, this does depend on what type of iPad you do have and what works hardware that you have. I'm really trying to get the word out there, sorry. But yeah, it definitely, like, this was a bit of a challenge for me. I did have a big commission last year. It was for like an A1 poster. I'll insert a photograph right here. It was a very quick job, but it was a massive piece. And the one sort of pitfall I did have with my iPad, it is a little 6th gen iPad from many moons ago. It is still kicking and it is still going, thank God. But yeah, like if I want to create like a big sort of 5,000 by 5,000 pixel piece, it struggled. It did struggle a wee bit to try and get like the high resolution and all that stuff. That's just something to keep in mind if you do have an older model of drawing hardware, like an iPad like mine from a few years back. I do recommend, even if you are in a position, this is only if you're in a position to do so, do maybe invest in an iPad Pro is what I would recommend. From what I've seen, I hear it is a lot better to draw and just a lot better experience to get high resolution and bigger pieces for, say, like large canvas paints or something like that there. That's kind of the one pitfall that I have sort of run into, is just the sort of sizing and really, I guess, a limitation to what you can create if you are using your digital art to print off larger pieces. So that's just something just to keep in mind going forward. If you are a digital artist looking to get into Procreate and you are looking to get into bigger pieces, I would even recommend you, if Procreate really doesn't work for you in that regard, maybe use something like along the lines of Photoshop, and I guess a free dupe for that is called Carita. Yeah, it is just like a little Photoshop dupe that I found. It's really good. The next thing I sort of want to touch on is the, I guess, extra tools that Procreate offers while you are drawing. Now, as I say, the brushes are fantastic, but you just want to add that little extra pizzazz to your paintings when you are finished. Now, the one thing I did struggle with in Procreate was learning how to use the clip mask. This to me is key going forward. I'll even insert a few photographs of my fruit printables, which are available on my Etsy. They won't be for much longer, that's all I'm going to say. But yeah, it definitely took me a long time to learn how to add shadows and to I guess, learn how to use the layers. It definitely took me a wee while to learn. That is definitely something, if you're not experienced in as a digital artist, I would recommend watching a lot of artists here on YouTube. I'll even link a few of my favorites down below who I find very useful in trying to use clip mask and use all these different effects, because it can be a wee overwhelming to know what these things mean and to know how to use them and how to use them correctly to make sure your paintings look, you know, like not realistic as such, but just, you know, to make them look better and to make them look a lot more polished and clean before you post them on your social media. But yeah, the clip mask definitely did take me a while to learn, and as well as the other features. But what I did appreciate, as I say before, about the user interface, it definitely made it a little less overwhelming. I did find when I reviewed Ibis Paint, like the interface itself was very like crowded, and you really just didn't know where to start. But that's one thing I do appreciate about Procreate, is that, you know, it is very much like minimal, and definitely, you know, look up how to use all the different effects and what they're used for, and definitely also learn what the actual layers are for and all the different blending modes, because like I didn't have a clue about that. I just thought like they were just there for like the crack or whatever, but they're not. They're actually very useful in adding different effects to your paintings. So yeah, take a look at my fruits printables on my Etsy if you are interested, and yeah, very interesting software to use. So I guess to sort of wrap up this review, I highly recommend Procreate. I have not a whole lot of bad to say about it. Yeah, I definitely have grown a lot in my digital art journey, and I will offer a few sort of words of wisdom. If you are a little baby artist and you're just getting started out, I will say this: you can look at all the different artists online, but please do not compare your journey to someone else's. Someone else's chapter, say 100, could be your chapter 1, and we all have to start somewhere. I will say about being an artist online, it is not easy. If you have dealt with haters, like you will know it can be very disheartening, especially if you're in the beginning stages of your art journey. But please do not lose heart in this journey. It is a exciting one. It's creative. It's amazing to partner with God in these things to create beautiful art pieces for His glory, if you are that way inclined like myself, or even just to do it for the absolute love of painting, which is absolutely fantastic. But I will say, do not compare your journey to someone else's. There are people who are proper professionals in this industry, and guess what? You have to start somewhere too. My advice would be just to start to create, just to experiment, see what works for you. It may not be perfect, it may look a little crap, but do allow yourself to make crap pieces, and allow yourself to look back on this journey when you are maybe a couple years down the line and you're a lot more experienced and you have a lot more wisdom. You can look back and say, look how far we've come. So yeah, that's just my little pearl of wisdom for you today if you are a little baby artist. And yeah, I highly recommend Procreate. I don't know what to say. It's very good product, and I highly recommend it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Be sure to give me a like and a thumbs up, and let me know if you want me to review anything else art related. I would love to share my thoughts with you guys on this little corner of the internet. Do people even say that anymore? Anyway, but yeah, I hope you guys have a lovely day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye and God bless.